What's going on, guys? In this episode, I'm talking about the challenges and the amazing benefits of entrepreneurship. This episode is going to be completely off the cuff. I have no notes. It's just me, you, and I have my recording software in the background. Got my nice handy dandy mic right here that I'm using to record for just audio quality purposes on desktop. But in this podcast, I want to talk about the challenges and the benefits of entrepreneurship. So let's start off with, if you want to call the challenges. So the first challenge that I can think of that comes to mind is that there will be a lot of failure, and failure is key to actually being an entrepreneur. I've gotten told so many times that either an individual can't work with me, or that this deal didn't work out, or that the rate was too high, or little things like that. By the way, if you're watching this live and you see me moving around like this, I got a gimbal off Amazon, and it's kind of following me, and I have my face tracker on. So if you see the camera moving like this and my hand, up in the air, that's what's going on. So anyways, definitely failure. Failure is one of the biggest assets that I think is a part of entrepreneurship. What I mean by asset is I think it is necessary. I think it's absolutely necessary to fail. The reason why is because in today's world, failure can be seen, and in most times than not, seen as something that you want to avoid. You want to avoid failing at all times. Now, at some point, that can possibly be true once you're later down the line and you have a lot of experience under your belt, so you know better, so you can fail a little bit less. But you cannot completely eliminate failure, especially from the entrepreneurship discussion. It's something that is way too ingrained in life. Failure is what I mean. That's way too ingrained in life. And so to completely eliminate failure, or to not even think about failure, is very unrealistic when becoming an entrepreneur. So if you are thinking about becoming an entrepreneur, let me tell you right now, you will fail. You will fail multiple times. You will fail over and over and over again. You may even get rejected 100 times. There's a common, basically concept that you have to fail 100 times before you get your first yes. You get told no 99 times or 100 times before you get that first yes, and it's very true. I remember when I was starting my digital agency that I cold called. 5, 6, 7 businesses in a row that very first day, and I got nothing. I got people hanging up on me. I even had let me tell you a story. I had one person tell me when I was cold calling them that somebody from my team had already contacted them. Now, how much of that is true, or were they just trying to get me off their back? Whatever it may be, maybe both. Or maybe they were just really genuine and they thought somebody else from my team called. It was just me. This was literally day one. Day one of me starting my agency, trying to get clients, and somebody already told me that one of my team members, which I didn't have any because it was just me, I was a solopreneur at that point, that one of my team members called them. And I was like, oh. And I was like, that actually probably wasn't me, because I don't have any team members. I was actually really genuine. They're like, oh, okay. And then they said they weren't interested. So it takes a lot of failure to be able to get to a point of learning how to better cope with them when it comes to actually succeeding, and from an emotional standpoint. Then this is going to be number 2. You have to have guts. You have to have the ability to take those hits. And that is something that I've learned from being an entrepreneur for the last, really the last 4 to 5 years. It's something that is not for the sensitive person. Now, what I mean by that is you can't let these losses or failures or setbacks in entrepreneurship weigh on your shoulders. You can learn from them. You can leverage them. And that's what I would suggest. Leverage these failures to then go forth and be better. So it's not for the sensitive. It's not for the people who, when I mean sensitive, I mean you can't take it to heart, like truly take it to heart, like you're doing something that is wrong and you stop and quit. That's what I'm essentially saying. You can be sensitive in business. You can be kind in business. But what I'm referring to is you can't let it get to you, essentially. You can't let it stop you from achieving your goals. And so with that being said, when it comes to entrepreneurship, we already have, we talked about failure, talked about having the guts to stick it through and not taking it, truly personal. Number 3, I would say, is patience. You have to have patience, and that's really the big key within all this. It was over a year before I got my first client. Now, at that point, I was in school, so it was a little bit of a time crunch between, okay, I'm going to school, doing that, and also gaining clients. But while looking back on it, it was about a year before I got my first paying retainer client. And I actually still have that client to this day. And I actually increased the overall retainer by over 50%, way over 50%, close to 150%, which is great because that means that they've trusted me and we've been able to grow the working relationship, and it's become an amazing working relationship there. So that's the third thing I have to say: patience. Having patience in this is the biggest thing, and that is a big challenge too. Dealing with failure, that's a huge challenge. Being able to take it and internalize that failure and not letting it, that's one of the biggest challenges that you can face. And notice these are not, business in a sense related. What I mean by that is it's not like you're going out of business. It's not like you're losing clients. It's not like your product or service sucks. This is a lot of it's internal. And so I'm going to kind of stick with that really quick and with patience, and I'm going to go to some of the external things. But patience is a huge challenge. Being able to take and weather the storm and realize that tomorrow is a new day, and that whatever happened yesterday, learn from it. If you cold called 500 people, which would be insane, you can do. If you cold called 500 people and not one of them returned your calls, okay, go back to the drawing board and say, okay, let's see. Is my approach wrong? Is my tone incorrect? Is there something within the actual process of cold calling that is wrong? And that's where you will find some of these answers. So shifting away from these internal things, let's talk about some external challenges. You obviously have your competitors. Those are huge challenges within entrepreneurship. There is a competitor for every single business out there, and it's key to know them. I know my competitors here in Tennessee and even in the country. There are so many digital agencies popping up around the country now. But the biggest thing is actually facing that competition. And what I've realized is that so many business-oriented people are cutthroat. I mean, I'm the same way. I want to win. I want to be the best agency in Nashville, best agency in the U.S., mainly in Nashville right now because I can't grow to that scale just yet. So I want all these other businesses. I want all the business. I do. I want as much business as I can take on. But the other side of this is there is so much business out there. So I understand that there can be sort of a divide between. And I shouldn't say divide. I think the better term would be. Let me think. We're going to sit through this really quick. The better term that I would say is there is enough opportunity to be able to divide the work up. So the opportunity out there is abundant. I mean, it is, when I say it's ridiculous, it is absolutely ridiculous. If you put in the work and you find a strategy that works for you, whether that's cold calling, Instagram DM, Facebook group, networking, Chamber of Commerce, Instagram, Reels, TikTok, YouTube, I don't care what it is. There is opportunity out there for every single business owner, regardless of what business you're in. There is a customer for you. And this is the other thing that I would have to say is another challenge, and I've learned this along the way, is that you cannot serve everybody. The reason why is because that would be a very boring product. If you served everybody, that you'd be very boring. And this is what I've learned, is that you have to be able to identify what your customers want, what their true needs are. So for example, I run a digital agency. People hire me to run, and people hire my agency to run ads or build a website or to conduct social media management services, to design graphics, all of those different things. But what is the real deep purpose for why they are hiring me? You have to think about that. So yes, they may need your services, but why do they need your services? Do they need it because they want more business? Do they need it because they need more customers? Do they need it because they're in a growth phase? Do they need it because they realize they may have been a little bit lagging behind? They may need to correct some things when it comes to social media, or they may just actually just need a website. Take it a step further. I challenge you to do this. So, one, they just want to have an agency, be able to create this content for them. That's layer one. Layer two is they want more business. That's, number two. Layer three, why do they want more business? Is it to spend more time with their kids? Is it to grow their business and maybe step away from it a little bit to spend more time doing other things that they enjoy? Is it the fact that they actually just can't do it? I've met a lot of business owners that simply cannot do social media not because they don't want to, not because they don't think that it's not important. They just don't have the time. So there's that third layer that I really think you need to dive into, and that's the biggest challenge for you and your business, is to figure out, what is that piece? What are people wanting me for? Is it simply, to just have a social presence, to be credible? Okay, they want to be credible. Why do they want to be credible? They want to impress people. Okay, why do they want to impress people? Really go down into the minutiae in this and figure out what is the reason why people are hiring you, or people want your product, or people want your service. For example, let's say you have, wow, that just shook the entire desk. Let's say you have a product of some sorts. Let's say you're a coffee company. No, that's a general topic. Let's say you're a lawn mower company. And let's say you have customers all over the Nashville area. And you want to be able to, service those customers. So you want to build a website. So you hire me to build the website. So, okay, let's dive into this equation. Okay, why do they, I did it again. I keep on hitting my mic and it shakes the table and stuff. You can't see this on the podcast, obviously, if you're watching this. I mean, if you're listening to this, but you can see me shaking the table. So you have a website that needs to be built. So you hire somebody to do that. So simply, you just don't have a website. That's number one. Number two, okay, we know why. Let's dive deeper. Okay, why do you want to have a website there? One, yep, you don't have it. But two, it's to be able to capture those customers in. Okay, that's another level. Why do you want to capture those customers in? Because you want more business. Why do you want more business? To actually grow your business and to reach some sort of maybe financial freedom or some sort of revenue goal. Okay, why do you want to reach that revenue goal? And this is kind of going for both sides, for people who serve these business owners and for these actual business owners that are listening right now. Figure out, what is that true why that people are wanting? And what you can do there is set up customer personas built around that why. So you could have a customer persona for Jill, who owns this restaurant, who is trying to get more customers in because she wants to make more to be able to spend more on her grandkids or her kids, something like that, or save up for her kids' college. Figure out what that true why is. I can't even remember what point I'm on. I think I'm on like 5. But when it comes to some external things that are challenges for entrepreneurs, I would say, the competition is big, but also being able to adapt. I think that is the fifth challenge here, is being able to adapt on the spot. And what I mean by that is figuring out how you can change your product, change your offering, change your service in a way that's going to benefit who you're reaching. And so with that could be adding a layer of complexity on your end to make it look better for the client. For example, I invested in a analytics software that my clients can log into to be able to see everything that's going on behind the scenes when it comes to analytics, seeing how much their page has grown, what the return on ad spend is, how many clicks they're getting, the click-through rates, the cost per landing page views, how many people are clicking on the ads, what ages they are, what gender they are, where they're located, all of these things, so that I don't have to basically report this from a manual standpoint. I can create these reports directly from the stats and send it off to them, but they also have access at any time to look at it, which is great. that was adaptability, because I realized there was a little bit of a break in the market between the analytics side and the actual execution of these social media marketing services. And I put those together to create this client portal that people can go in and see their own analytics for those accounts that we're running. So that's one example of this. Being able to adapt is maybe changing scenery within your actual physical location. Maybe it's adjusting to new technologies. Maybe it's in adding a new social network. Maybe it's adding a new POS system. Maybe it's introducing QR code menus. Being able to adapt on the fly, and COVID really proved this, that adapting on the fly is so necessary to be able to actually win in business. The businesses that adapted won. The businesses that, obviously a lot of businesses that didn't adapt or did adapt didn't win. I'm just making a very broad generalization here. Sometimes the businesses that don't adapt end up losing. And we've seen that across the board. I can give you 2 to 3 examples. The taxi industry and Uber. One right there. The taxi industry laughed at Uber when they were coming around saying, "Oh no, that's not going to happen. You're not going to be able to order a car to come to your door and take you from anywhere from a little phone. No way." Taxis are almost obsolete. Let's look at Amazon. You had to go to places to be able to buy the products that you want. You couldn't order it, at least not to the scale and what the availability that Amazon has. And here we are. They adapted. They were a bookstore, and now they serve every single country, every single customer in the world with anything that you want. I just bought a backpack from them yesterday. Let's think about another business that is adapted. There's so many. Let's look at Tesla. Or no. Let's look at Airbnb. Airbnb is a great one. I actually have a book on Airbnb that I'm really wanting to read, but I haven't had time to. Let's look at Airbnb. Basically, what they did was they took people's homes and turned it into properties that people can rent. People's homes. They don't even have to own the property. I'm talking about Airbnb. Airbnb basically took the rental industry, the hotel industry, flipped it on its head, and let's say, okay, we're going to make all these individuals who want to become sort of, entrepreneurs, we don't have to own the properties, but we can still provide this service to be able to rent out spaces. We're going to get a fee for it. They're going to make money. It's a win-win. Literally one of the smartest business concepts that's ever come out of the world, I would say. And then let's look at a very common one. It's Netflix. Netflix has done something that, those other two have done as well. They've been able to revolutionize the streaming world and what is being able to be watched at any given time, and flipped it on its head, and you can just have a subscription. You can watch it from your phone, computer, laptop, doesn't matter what it is. Instead of having to go to a Blockbuster or a Redbox or one of those stores to get a DVD, come back, all this different stuff. They're the leader. They're the leader. So adaptability, I would say, is the last one when it comes to challenges. Now, I want to switch over to benefits, because benefits have become, I want this to be a decently long podcast, but I only have about 10 minutes left before I really want to actually head to the gym. So we're going to get these benefits kind of flying through here. So the benefits of entrepreneurship is that you can work whenever you want, for as long as you want, as hard as you want. The downside to that is you may create your own jail within your own business. What I mean by that is you may take on so much responsibility and so much work that you are actually trapped within your business that you can't go and do other things, that you can't leave your computer, because if you leave your computer, you won't have a business. So that's where you want to create systems, and you want to bring on the right people to be able to help them achieve. What I mean by help them as in the people you bring on, you want them to reach their goals by being partnered with you or being an employee or however you want it to be. And you want to be able to pay them something that is very fair. And then you want to be able to go and do the things that you want to do so you can step away from the business. And that's one of the biggest lessons that I've learned, and I want everybody that's listening to this, is that once you take that step back and you become almost an advisor slash CEO role, where you have people underneath you doing the tasks that you were once doing, that is what it truly means to be a business owner. I'm going to dive into that a little bit more. To become a business owner, you have to know every single asset and every single responsibility that you are hiring out to do. The reason why I say this is because let's say shit hits the fan, everybody leaves, and you are stuck. It's just you. It's just you again. It's back to, day one. If you don't know, let's say you're a digital agency like I am. Let's say I didn't know how to build a website and I have clients that are in progress that we need to finish that site and I don't know how to do it. That's on me. And this is going to be another benefit, kind of not a challenge, but responsibility. That's a whole other thing. I'm going to add that to the end. It's going to be a little bonus. And so I'm going to figure out a way to remind myself to say that at the end. Responsibility. Okay. So while you are going through entrepreneurship, you have to be able to step away and you have to be able to say, okay, I am going to not create my own jail. I'm going to have the freedom to be able to do what I want to do. Let me bring on some individuals that I can help. Maybe they, are either, interns, maybe they're actually hires, maybe they're freelancers, whatever they may be. How can I hire them so they can achieve their goals financially and I can achieve mine? So make it a completely two-way street. You don't want to be, I'm bringing this person on just so I can have more freedom. I don't care what they do. I just don't want to deal with this. No, you want to be able to make it a two-way street. The second benefit is that you can have truly financial freedom. I know that's a big term that is thrown around with a bunch of different people, a lot of gurus and whatnot, but it really is true. You can make how much or how little you want to make. If you want to have 5 clients or 10 clients at $1,000 a piece and you don't want to go past that, you can do that. If you want to grow, you can just keep on bringing them on. If you don't want to grow at all, you can, slowly stop doing that lead gen. I would still have some lead gen process just in case there's a little turnover in that. But you have to realize that you can make as much as you want or as little as you want. So you have the freedom in that sense. Another big positive about entrepreneurship is that you can help people. That's one of the most fulfilling things that I've actually realized within growing my agency, J Media, is that there are people that are very, very emotional when it comes to what things have been done that I've been able to do for that individual. Whether that's build a website or run ads or get leads to somebody to be able to sell something that they want to sell, or whether it's simply driving traffic to a blog or running effective ads that they're able to increase their revenue. All of these different things, it's so fulfilling to do these things and actually serve people. And that's one thing that you have to have. You have to have now I shouldn't say a servant mentality, but you have to have a willingness to help people with whatever you do. Whether that's you make a product, whether that you have a physical store, it's all about helping somebody else achieve or get what they want. Amazon helps me get my backpack in 3 days because I'm going to Italy. I help somebody build a website so they can increase their presence and they can get leads. You may help somebody with your banana business, getting people nutrition that they need. Whatever it may be. That was a weird idea. I wouldn't suggest delivering bananas to people, but if you do, great. I don't know. So the fulfillment part of that is amazing. And also, number 4 is going to be a small section. The connections you make are so unbelievable. The networking opportunities, the referral game, which I would say don't expect referrals. That's one thing that I've learned as well, is that you want to give as much value as you can and not expect anything in return. What I mean by that is, let's say you have a client and you do work for them, you expect a payment. That's clear. What I'm saying is, though, if you have a client, you're doing work for them, don't expect them to go and tell all their friends and that's how you're going to make all the new business that you have just based off of that. No, you want to be able to provide that person with something that they can actually share with somebody else, not because you told them to, because they wanted to. Those are the connections that you want to make. So the referral game, that's number 5. Referral game is amazing. I've gotten a lot of clients off of that. And then really to kind of tie this up, I would say another fulfilling part of this is to be able to say that you grew something from start and scratch up until it's, till its birth, and now it's flourishing like a tree. That was very philosophical. Okay. To be able to say that you are growing something, whether that's a digital agency, I keep on going to that example, whether that's a direct-to-consumer product, whether you're a CPA, whether you're a freelance artist, whether you're a musician, being able to say that you started from, oh, this is going to be cringy, started from the bottom, now you're here. That was so bad, guys. I'm sorry, I had to do it. It's the first thing that came into my mind. And so being able to say you started from something or started from nothing and went to something, my nose itches, that is huge. That is huge within the entrepreneurship game, and being able to really harness the responsibility that comes with it. I thought of the Spider-Man quote. I am not going to say it, but y'all know what it is. When it comes to entrepreneurship and responsibility, if you have your own business, everything falls on you. If something that somebody else, if somebody else steals from your company, that is on the line that it's not your fault. But everything else is on you. If you brought on somebody who did a terrible job, that is on you. If you did not make the hire in time to be able to fulfill the service, that's on you. If you performed a shitty service, that's on you. If you did not make terms clear, that's on you. If you lost a client, that's on you. If you gained a client, that's on you. If everything that you do within your business is on you. And I think that's a big issue that we have right now in the world, is self-responsibility and self-accountability. Once I finally took the notion and took the thought that, okay, maybe I'm not growing because I'm not reaching out to people. Maybe I'm not, increasing my retainers because I don't have anything truly valuable to add. Okay, how can I add value? Maybe I lost this client not because they simply didn't want to work with me anymore. Maybe it's because I did something wrong. Maybe I did a bad, terrible job. So having, it's a quote that Gary Vee does quite a bit, but it's less finger pointing and more thumb pointing back towards me. More, to-do and more this. And with that being said, responsibility is probably the biggest opportunity and benefit, I would say, for entrepreneurship as a whole. Being able to be accountable and being responsible and saying, yes, I screwed up. I did not build your website in the time that I thought I was going to. That's on me. Here's a couple revisions I'm going to do for free because I know I didn't get to you in time. I want to get this right. Here's a month free of website management, something like that. Or, accountability that you did something right. Not trying to not be humble, but being accountable and being responsible for things that go right and things that go wrong. Yes, I reached out to 50 different businesses and I got 5 yeses. I increased my revenue by 50% because of that. That's awesome. Being responsible there. Or the flip side, I should have reached out to 50 businesses because now I'm stuck. I lost 3 clients and now I don't have enough to pay rent. Okay, what do? Do I sit here and sulk, or do I go out, put in the work, get some clients to be able to meet that demand when it comes to actually paying rent, or paying whatever you need to pay, your bills, your employees, all of that stuff, and do that there. And this is really kind of focused on solopreneurs, but if you have a team, I want to extend this to people who have teams as well. Being able to put the responsibility in someone else's hands, as in, let's say I had an accountant that I have, or let's say I have a social media manager that I'm hiring, and I give them all of the parameters, everything that I need to know, or everything that they need to know, the SOPs, all the fun stuff, and they go in and perform a good job. Okay, I was responsible for that because I gave them what they needed to. Now, let's say I gave them a terrible document and they went out and completely botched a client and we lost them. That's on me. That's on me. Even if, let's say you did give them the right stuff and they went out and still did a bad job, still on me because I hired that person. So all in all, the challenges of entrepreneurship, you have failure, you have patience, you have to be able to withstand it, you have to be able to take rejection, you have to be able to deal with responsibility, benefits, you have time freedom, you have freedom with money, freedom with all these other things, and being able to help and serve others and also build something that you can call your own. That's going to end this podcast. Please Stay tuned for more podcasts coming your way. And this is John Drudris. Peace and out.